Check WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and Baltimore Positive. All of our Wise conversations brought to you by our friends at Wise Markets. We are headed out on the Crab Cake Tour in August. I have been promised that the Wise folks are going to have legit, true blue Maryland crab for me, as of course they will at Fadley's and at Costas and other places where we're going to be touring throughout the month of August. So I've had some changes here. Obviously, at WNST and Baltimore Positive, we've changed a lot of things. And no disrespect to Dr. Steve Elliott, who's been my chiropractor since 1998, since the beginning of WNST, when he called me and said, "Hey, you like chiropractic? Get down here, get your back fixed." Anybody been listening knows that my back was killing me back in December, January, and it took me a long time to realize it was the chair I was sitting in. You can't even see on the green screen because it goes through. But I had a chair that was kind of like hurting my back. And I have a friend who I've been lucky enough to inherit through life, Dave Noel, who is right down at the foot of the city in McHenry. And I thought his company was called MOI because I had been in Paris. I had been in France. It is not MOI, it's MOI. And we welcome him back onto the program because I want to let you pick the story up because, like, you asked me a minute ago how I'm doing. We're like friends in real life, but we haven't talked much in the last month. You delivered this like whole desk, and I'm going to show it with everybody because I got a picture. And I can't really show it because I'm green screaming, and I'm sitting at it. And I'm on the computer that's sitting on my desk, and this is my mouse, and this is my little thing. And I used to be such a laptop guy. And I'm not the only guy that calls you or has a friend of a friend, and maybe in this case it's Bill Cole or Mike Rosenfeld, that says, "You might want to call Dave. You might be working funky." And I'm like, "What do you mean working funky? I've been at the same desk for 25 years. And that's when you said to me, "Dude, get over here. We might be able to fix your whole mojo because I sit here 20 hours a day and work," right?
Yeah, well, you sounded like you were in pretty bad shape when you desperately needed some help when the phone rang. And
It was a cry for help.
yeah, it was. And unfortunately, you walked in. I didn't have to wheel you in. But no, it was, what happened in the last 15 months is everybody went from an office, or many people went from an office environment to a home. And many of those homes have either dining room tables or kitchen tables or something even less comfortable to work on. And people are spending 8, 10, 12 hours a day working from there. And
Everybody in my audience is familiar with this story, right? Everyone worked at the kitchen table. The kids were in the bedroom. We're working in the den. We're going over here. We're in the padded chair. I'll just work on the couch because I have a laptop and it'll be fine. Yeah, it's fine until like hour 4 and week 4, and then you can't move. Literally, I was in physical pain from 4 a.m. until I went to bed at 9 o'clock every night. I couldn't get out of it. My chiropractor couldn't help me because I kept sitting down on a chair that was injuring me. And it took me, I bought a new pillow. You know all this. I mean, I did all of these things. I was on drugs, like literal drugs, doing things and trying to feel better and nothing.
Yep. So the phone calls started coming in, and from friends that basically said, "Man, can you help me out? I'm just, I've been sitting in this chair too many hours a day, or I'm working at this table." If you're working from a home and there's one office and you have 2 breadwinners, they're fighting for office time. If you're lucky enough to have an office.
By the way, this has caused a real problem in my relationship with my wife. Seriously, like we got back from vacation. And on Monday, she stood up and she worked 6:45 on Monday. She's a worker, my wife, So she worked like 6:45, and I promised to make rockfish for dinner. I picked up some rockfish at Wise. I had picked up rockfish at Fadley's 2 weeks ago, and it was so good that I wanted to brag on how she didn't like the rockfish. But she said, "How's your back feeling?" And I'm like, "Feels great, man. I've been standing, I've been sitting, I've been levitating, I've been yogaing, I've been stretching. I got a little thing here that moves me up. See, this is literally, it levitates like it. And if I stay down here in the chair, so instead of doing that, I stand up. Whoa, hold on. What happened there? I think I stopped it. There we go. So you got me standing now. And she like's going to steal my day. When I go away, she's like, "Oh, extend that Ravens trip to Vegas. I'll take your desk over and work in there for a couple of days." I promise to take Fridays off around here so she can use my desk.
Well, we'll have to get you another setup, but
Well, yeah, but it is that, I'm being not facetious at all. I mean, my wife and I had to figure this out when she got sick. She started working from home, and she works in one room, and I sit here and scream radio all day, which you can only imagine what my wife has endured the last 7 years. But this is a real. People aren't going back to offices, are they, Dave?
well, they are. Well, this is once again, there's a lot of, I've been listening to a lot of experts pontificate for a long time about all the things that are, and the reality of it is, I don't think anybody actually knows at this point what's going to happen, but we are starting to see, well, you can see it by traffic on the roads, but we are starting to see signs of people coming back to the office. What you won't see is highly unlikely if 5 days a week, 8 hours a day requirements for people to be in the office. But I personally believe that there are certain things or companies, other than organizations, need that the office actually helps facilitate: culture, creativity, development, and those things are much better accomplished in an office environment. And the heads down work, or the people that are individual contractors that are trying to get their own stuff done, existed pre-COVID, they will still be doing their thing as well. But I don't believe the office is dead. I just think it's going to shift some. And we're going to see both increased demand for people looking for new space. They kind of kicked the can down the road in their leases. They couldn't decide what to do, so they just extended for 12
Dave,
months.
your mic's getting trapped under your collar. Pull that out from you. I'm missing
Sorry
a word or
about
two.
that.
Keep going. Yeah, we're all good. I just want to be able to hear you. Yeah, you're saying people were in their leases. That was probably the biggest issue a year ago. And I think it's obvious for anybody in the restaurant space seeing leases changing and places. It may not be so obvious in an office circumstance, right? Unless you work
Yeah,
there.
right. And so people, we are in our root, we are social creatures, and we do thrive with some social interaction, and doing it across the screen.
Not me. I don't like people. I'm never going back to people.
Well,
I'm good with Zoom, man. I can say whatever I want. You can't shoot me. You can just hang up.
well, you couldn't have had the experience that you had to end up with the situation that you're standing and sitting in right now without physically coming and seeing it. Right? That's not something that.
Well, I'm going to put the picture up for everybody. Dave Knowles here from MOI. Tell everybody what MOI is and what it does, and it's not moi, even though I do want to call it moi in your ad. I really do.
Yeah, MOI was originally Maryland Office Interiors, but we've expanded beyond Maryland, and we are an organization that helps businesses and individuals create work environments that support their mission. We put the stuff into space. We work creatively with the architectural design community and end users to find solutions to help make their people, put them in a position to be the most productive, the most comfortable, avoid back problems, utilize their space as a tool to help their businesses thrive.
You know what's funny is this picture that I'm sharing out on our YouTube. And anybody that wants to see my office, throw me an email, nest@baltimorepositive.com, if you're just out listening and you're not watching online. But you put this picture of Oriole Park out the window in the original design. There was like a fake picture of Oriole Park. This is the real picture of Oriole Park. And what's really, really weird about this picture, and it's spooky, because I took some pictures for you, to promote the fact that you built this incredible desk that I'm sitting at right now. And, there's the little hassock thing that my wife has actually sat on, and we booked a trip together and she used it as a chair. And then I have this area to put all my clutter. And this is what my desk looks like right now. If I turned off my green screen, it's pretty clean other than a couple of papers. These papers are still here. But how about the picture of the reflection of the football stadium in my laptop? I looked at the picture and I thought to myself, this almost looks professional, except for my cat's litter box under here, which is also in my office that no one sees. We have very nice hardwoods. The place is for sale, Dave. If you want to buy it, this view can be yours. And I know it looks like it's $1 million view. The truth is, it's now half price. So if you're interested in buying our condo, Jeff Moeller and Gary Realty. Dave Knowles here. He is MOI, Maryland Office Interiors. I call him moi. They have sort of hooked me up into a different circumstance. I'm standing now, and I often wonder what it would be like to be like Linda Cohn. I had Kenny Mayne on last week. I said, Kenny, I got a new desk. I can stand and do this now. And I think he preferred sitting. more reading the scores, according to him. But I'm digging the standing part, and I want to be really honest with you. For years and years, I've had the same desk. I had a glass desk that I bought at IKEA when IKEA was new. I'm talking about in the 90s. I lived in White Marsh. That desk, I bought that desk in 1998 when I moved into my house. My son went to Perry Hall and graduated in 02. So when I'm at a desk, 23 years old, I think I was on the second chair that I had there. And, I would say for all of the office equipment, that the thing that probably screwed my back up more than anything is looking at the phone, like doing literally down on the phone. And the other part was the laptop part of looking over and being hunched over in a way that I don't know. And I notice it now big time, bro. I notice it when I'm on airplanes, when I'm in coffee shops, people's posture with a laptop. Laptop's a short-term thing. Laptop is not something people should be working on 8 to 10 hours a day. There's a screen, your neck, getting back off of where you're working and your workspace. But I think more than anything, over all of the years of doing this, I haven't evolved at all, right? I'm still sitting in the same way, working in the same way. And Dave, I don't think I've been doing it right the whole time, right? I was in an airport maybe a decade ago. And I remember the airport I was in because it's a unique airport. I was in Dallas Love Field, and I'm walking through the kiosks, and I saw a competitor of yours that's an international thing that had a little desk stand. And I'm thinking to myself, it sort of it was an extender to allow me to stand at my desk. And it wasn't a lectern, the way you would know it, that would have a laptop on a lectern. I had seen that as well. Looked a little bit more like what a science teacher would do in a college, And I thought, man, broadcasting that way or whatever. But I kept seeing that desktop thing and wondering, I wonder if that's right for me. Well, that's a couple $100. Yeah, you like it, you don't like it, or whatever. What you've offered is a whole different level of pushing a button up and down, right? And I would just say that, and I've had this desk, Dave, I've had this desk 3 weeks. Like literally, it feels like I've had it forever, but I've had it 3 weeks. And I don't think if you came here and took this away from me and brought my old desk, I'd cry. Literally, because it's the versatility, but more than that, the mat I'm standing on for my body. My wife said to me last week, we were on vacation, she said, "How do you feel?" And I said, "I feel better than I felt in a long, long time." And that was a promise you made to me in March when I came in and said, "My back's killing me. I think I've seen my chiropractor. I've taken Advil. I got my card. I'm working on everything." But then I said, "I think my chair's wrong." And then you sent me a chair, and I started feeling better 3 days after you sent me the chair in March, literally.
That's good to hear. Yeah, I think the sit stand thing helps. It's tough to sit all day. That's not good for you. Ergonomics, it sounds boring, but it does have a major impact on how you feel. Your energy today, I can sense your energy is 100 times better.
I'm standing right now, but I started sitting, and I haven't figured out which one I like better. I'm not in love with either one of them. I'm in love with, I could sit now if I want to. I can stand now if I want to. My wife doesn't have that option, and it's killing her. Like literally,
Yeah.
My wife just turned 49, and she's been sitting after not sitting for a while. And her body the last couple of days has been more like she's watched me do it now, and she's getting a little jelly, but I'm going to jump on this, and for as long as I advertise for your relationship, I will tell anyone that if you want to do something, invest in yourself a little bit. If you are in a not mobile situation where you can't stand and sit, I would highly recommend that you find a circumstance that you could do that, because I think it, especially if you're a desk worker, and I think we've all become desk workers to some degree. And if we're not desk workers, we're car workers, right? So we're sitting, whatever we're doing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm curious. So in the course of your day, are you finding, you're switching between sit stand frequently, or are you picking like a 4-hour stint to do one thing versus the other?
Okay, so this would speak to who I am as like a 52-year-old guy that's been a yoga guy for a long time, right? A lot of things happen with the pandemic. probably the biggest tragedy for me was taking away my hot yoga classes, right? So like I wasn't getting the same kind of flex, my body was different. And then the notion that I was just going to sit on my ass, not go out, not dance, not go to concerts, not go to ball games, not fly places, not move other than walking. I think age, my chair, my butt, my ass being bony to begin with, my chair not move, like all of these things that have happened over the last year and a half with the pandemic, plus my age probably changed all of that. I would say for what you're asking me about, my body hurt in a way like back in March. I hurt badly in December, January, and February, but I hurt the most barefoot. And that's not even human, dude. Like as a human being and as a yoga guy, being flat-footed. And Brian Baldinger's my yoga teacher, my first yoga person. And Baldinger was a 15-year NFL athlete, went to Duke, really smart guy. But he would always say, it's the arches, Nasty. It's the arches. That's an athlete. You got arches. You got to get up on your arches. Flat foot, no good. Let me get Baldy's pinky out and do that. Have some fun with Baldy. He's in Costa Rica spearing fish right now, so I'm not worried about him. But being barefoot hurt me. And I said to you and I said to your crew, I'm like, look, whatever your ergo is and wherever my arms need to be when I'm writing or when I'm sitting or when I'm broadcasting, the biggest thing for me is like standing might hurt me. Having the pad underneath me, you showed me the standing pad. It feels like a wrestling mat. I wrestled in high school. It feels like a wrestling mat so I'm barefoot right now. I feel like Chris Robinson in the Black Crowes. I feel like I'm about to start singing soul singing and beating on a tambourine, but standing barefoot feels human again. Now, that being said, I've had about enough. I've been standing. I have beautiful shoes. Shout out to Josh at Charm City Run for putting me into a shoe. This body thing, this is not new. This is 52. And, having played a lot of tennis and being a catcher when I was a kid, and I don't brag about the time I threw that football over the van, over that mountain. But when you're 52 and your body starts to break down, and I'm a pretty athletic guy. I can't imagine what it'd be like to be overweight or 6'8" like you are, or like all of these other things that could screw your back up. I mean, I'm indebted to you for the desk, but more than that, I want to be an advocate to people to move. I had Victor Brick from Brick Bodies, Planet Fitness on. Just move. Moving around during the day, and this gives me the option to move. So short story long, yeah. I think I'm never going to go one or the other, shoes on, shoes off. I don't think I'll stand much without the pad under me because that makes me feel better. And I haven't even set all the settings on the desk yet. I don't know whether 25 inches, 41 inches, whatever it is, but I'm in love with the concept of this desk. I am. And do people want to come and hug you when seriously? I mean, I'm very pleased with you, but I think I can't be the only one that comes to you. Give your story. You're like a really big, tall guy. Like stuff's not built for guys like you, man.
Oh no, there's no place I can go to get something standard, whether it's clothes, cars, furniture, whatever it may be. So yeah, no, at 6'5", life was not designed if you're on either end of the bell curve. It's only designed for the people in the middle of the curve.
Basketball was designed for you.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that was
volleyball nets.
Those aspirations left the building a long time ago. But at any rate, no, I mean.
But for productivity for employees, if I had a room full of employees where my livelihood is on them, and that's happened before, but if they were sitting still, my old radio station, when we built the original radio station that Dwight Weller built, he built the console high. The console, and I stood and did radio in 1994, 5, 6, and 7. I started sitting doing radio in 1998 because I built the studio to be low.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then everybody sat low. And no offense, all my employees had gout and back problems too. So.
Right. So when you think about it, if people got comfortable and don't want to leave the home, then if you're going to have an office, you better make sure whatever's in the office has a lot of flexibility and makes it a lot easier to work and create some inspiration. And so, you feel excited about if you're going to come back to the office, even if it's for a couple days a week, you want to be there because it's a better environment or it gives you the tools.
I want to show my desk one more time because you
need a before and after. is what you need.
I have a before and after. I have a before, but I have a lot of befores. my hips own that. But the interesting part for me was with what you did with my space, right? Like, so for me, I'm selling my condo. I might be moving somewhere else. I said to you, make it small. Like the next place I go might be an apartment room or a smaller room. Baltimore's smaller, it might, row houses, all of that. My desk was big and glass and immobile. This feels to me like it fits in places. And I know that that's really one of the things you guys do professionally for big offices is say, man, you're paying X hundreds of dollars per square foot in this space and this. How do we maximize this for you to make it functional? My wife would be if I could pull her out of work right now and put the headset on her, she would tell you she's worked for one company for all of her lifetime. She's probably worked in 5 or 6 different offices. None of them were ever any good. She never really had a say in it. This is your desk. You sit here. This is your cubicle. If it's high, if it's low. I remember in the Baltimore Sun, when I was in the Sun in 1986, okay, when I showed up there, it looked like all the president's men. And you know what I'm talking about? Low desks. You could yell all the way across the newsroom. Sometime about 88 or 89, some guy like you got a hold of them. And they came in and they made everything metal and they made everything high for storage and they made everything gray with we all had keys like this that I have that's in here, and we all had cubicle space, and all of a sudden the news department couldn't see the editorial department, which couldn't see the sports department, which I sort of liked. We were over goofing off. We were in the sports department, but offices, functionality, dude, you've been doing this your whole life. People spend billions of dollars in R&D trying to figure out how to make an office function, right?
And it changes all the time, and it's going to continue to change all the time.
Changes with age too, right? How old your people are, right?
It changes with age. It changes with trends. As you've got 4 or 5 generations of people in the office, they all work slightly differently. I mean, each office has its own culture. So there's, to get back to your story, I was pushing you for a larger desk and you argued with me. We took you through a virtual design process and let you see kind of what that would look like.
You and I fought too.
We did fight.
We fought.
Because I was once again instilling what I thought would be valuable. But, in the end of the day,
you know what I said to you? I want less desk space for 2 reasons. One, I'll use it. And I don't want to use it. I don't want any more crap on my desk. I'm trying to be anti-paper and I'm trying to be anti-clutter. And I am. I mean, I am. I mean, I've moved. It's taken me a long time to get rid of stuff. And I think being digital is to be minimalistic to some degree, right? Like you walk into your place, it doesn't look like the Sun newsroom. I said it looks like the Jetsons. I mean, you have like pods in your place where you could have a private meeting in a bigger office. And I thought, I'm a big privacy guy. Anybody knows me knows, like, when you're out having a meeting with me, and like, I hate that people can hear what I'm saying. I would hate working at the Baltimore Sun right now in an environment where I'm talking to a source in a newsroom and everybody can hear me.
Yeah, in that open environment, whether it was the one from 1986 where everybody could see each other, or even the one where visually you couldn't see each other, sound is a big deal, and having the ability to have conversations without disrupting what else is going on is important.
Hey, my wife and I, we're a 2-person office. I'm in here and she's in there, and all I friggin' do is sit in here and scream and talk to people like you, right? Yeah. And she's literally 15 feet away, literally in another room, and she's doing important stuff. And like, I drive my poor wife nuts. Like literally, she doesn't drive me nuts because she isn't coming in the middle of the show. But like, I'm making toast out in her office. So like, it can really be a stressor for all of us who take our job seriously, right?
Yeah, I mean, sound. To your point, you were dead set on. I'm going to go minimalistic here. I'm getting rid of all this paper. I don't need any of this storage. All the things that you had kept for however many years, accumulating from all the shows that you've done. And And now you've kind of moved to the other extreme, which is your storage requirements were minimal. And your home, the sound issues are a little bit different. I'm sure your wife has headphones on, so she doesn't get disrupted by what you're doing in an office. There's a lot of other ways to accomplish that. So there's a lot of elements. I mean, it's really
well, I mean, I think somebody calls you, the first thing you want to know is everything about their office, right? Like, it's not, here's the chair, here's the desk. And for me, man, like, look, I could have gone to the Office Depot or the internet or and ordered something. I would never do that because I'd want to sit at it. I literally, Dave, I think you know this. My body hurt. I've known you forever. I've never really thought like I needed a desk or my desk was fine. And I sort of liked having put my feet up underneath if it had these bars that I sort of miss a little bit, right? But when I walked into your place, I had no idea desk went up and down. And that, like, all right, it's not cheap, but it's also not a rocket ship. And it's also like, freaking here every day. This is like where I work. Like, you put all this money into a car. I say put money into a mattress because you're sleeping there 8 hours a day. You got a bad mattress, you're going to have a bad life. You got bad shoes, you're going to have a bad life. No one ever told me that about the desk. Like, literally, and I'm here, I'm going to scream about it because you're here all day, and everybody's had this transition the last 15 months. Everybody's
had it. No one thought about the fact that they'd be doing it for 8 hours a day. And I think over time, people are wearing down physically because the setup they have was never designed. It was designed for, hey, I want to work on a Saturday morning, or I got to go home and take care of a quick project for a couple hours. Okay, no big deal. The office has always been designed.
Take my laptop home, right? Literally, right?
But the office has always been designed around durability, the product selections at this point, no matter what supply you're using, are all built very, very strong. And
so I can lean on this desk, no problem.
You could probably stand on it, and you'd be dancing at your feet.
But I'm skinny.
Yeah, no, but no, it's a lot of thought goes into it, I think the sense that it provides not only a place to work and some functionality, but actually better ergonomics for you and a better feel that theme is only going to continue to be explored as we go further and further along, as whatever the new normal is for work, which once again, I don't think we've actually figured out yet, but we will in about 2 or 3 years.
I got no new normal, dude. New normal was I was standing and I can do this. And, it's a good thing. Well, you know what? I'm not wearing pants right now, so I got to be really, really careful, how I do this. But I can, I can get into a seated position here and do it the way I used to do it, sitting. So Dave Knowles here. He's MOI, not French, not moi. Maryland Office Interiors, MOI. You can find them out on the web. You can honk the horn if you're going through the Fort McHenry Tunnel. They are literally right next to the Fort McHenry Tunnel in McHenry Row. You come down. Are you open enough now that I can come in and see the spaceship showroom that you have there?
We are open. We've been open. We've followed all the protocols. I've been coming in almost throughout the entire pandemic because I'm old school. I like the office. I got to get out of the house. Although I'm an introvert.
I say, hey, Dave, man, what do you do? I sell office furniture. What do you do? I stay at home.
Look, I'm not only selling this stuff. I mean, I'm running a business, and I've got a bunch of people, and we're trying to build culture, and we're our own workplace lab. So what we do is want to live the experience so we can talk about it to people that come in.
When I took one of your chairs, I mean, your staff went crazy. I think I took somebody's favorite chair here, when but you have many, man, you can find something for everybody basically, right? I would say you got lucky with me. We went through a whole process to make this comfortable, and it is. And 2 months later, I think I'm going to be working better the next 5-10 years because of this decision I made to come see you.
Yeah, there's a million options. We represent a lot of different products. How many different chairs did you sit in when you came in here just to try to figure out what you liked and didn't like? Because it's a very individual decision.
Yeah, I like this chair. I just feel like it's all the cushion for me. I'm convinced it was my bony ass down on the chair and me not opening my hips that got me into pain. So I think I need the padding for a 350-pound guy, even though I weigh a buck and a half, soaking wet. I just think I sit hard. You know what I mean? I'm a hard sitter. I'm a sitter, you
You're
know?
a high energy guy. I mean, like, you put a lot of pressure on all those mechanisms.
I sit heavy, sort of, kind of, I guess. Dave Noel, MOI. Next time you come on, we'll talk about the city and fixing the place and, getting the Orioles out of last place and like all that kind of stuff. But I love the fact that you say you're busy. And I guess that's sort of, I'm not the first one or the only one to say, hey, I need a better situation to sit and work, right?
No, you're not the only one. People are trying to figure out what is it they're going to do, whether it is working from home or whether it is changing the office based on new demands. And so there's a
Don't
lot.
work at the kitchen table. It's a bad idea, man.
Yeah, the kitchen table was never designed to be an office, and so we would love to be able to help anybody that's thinking about it, needs some ideas. Our space is a idea generator. It's a you call it the Jetsons. We just call it a place to actually explore different things that you can consider to help make your environments more productive for you, whether it is your home office or whether it's inside the corporate corporate organizational space.
If you're uncomfortable work, your back hurts, any of that kind of stuff, I highly recommend it. I'm going to be endorsing, my movement to the new desk and sharing the pictures and all that stuff with our partners at MOI. Dave, always good to visit with you, bro. Enjoy the summer. We'll get together again in a couple weeks. Just know that I am cozy here, and if anybody needs to be egged on to get a better desk, tell them to call me. I'll let them know how my productivity's up.
Appreciate it. Look forward to the crab cake tour, and maybe you'll get your own Netflix series out of that. Somebody else just did on fried foods out of Baltimore.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not really looking to do that. I'm just looking to have good conversations and crab cakes and try every single one to see which one I really like the best. Because people keep saying, which one do you like the best? I'm like, I haven't tried them all yet. I can always come up with that answer. Dave Noel joining us here, MOI, their Maryland office of Interiors. You can find them at MOI, and you can find me, Ness, at BaltimorePositive.com. A ringing endorsement, even though I have 2 sets of keys here and I can't figure them out. But these are first world problems. I'm not worried about any of that. You can find me anywhere the wise conversations are at BaltimorePositive.com. We're about to do the crab cake tour. We're having conversations with all sorts of people about making the city better, and Luke on sports and football and baseball. I am Nestor. We are WNST.net, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore. We never stop talking Baltimore positive.